Okay, so is data science really the sexiest job of 21st century? Well, in this webinar, we're going to find that out, of course, using facts. So agenda is at the end of the session, you will be able to know why data science is the most sought after job in 2015, career opportunities with data science, advantages, and understands how companies are using data science so that you can mold your skill sets accordingly. So data science is a very vast domain, and and you'll have to focus on certain areas. If you mastering, let's say, most of the areas where data science deals in, so in that case you'll want to land up being the jack of all trades. I'm so sorry, my throat is bad today, so probably have to bear with this bad voice. So why data science is the most sought after job in 2015? Well, let's see the answers. Fortune 100 companies board the data science flight. So with the data science trends gaining momentum, legacy firms build up their data science teams. Analysts get a salary band lift. Okay, so how many of those Fortune 100 companies are actually using these data scientists? These companies basically are using these data scientists for certain very specific tasks. So I use the word certain and specific. The reason is those tasks were anyways, already being done within those organizations, but the essence was not data. Now they feel that their data is really important, and data has got a lot of values. They want to tap the all possible length and breadth of the data sets, and to analyze that they need a data scientist, which is probably one step or a couple of steps ahead than a data analyst. Now, what kind of work would a data scientist do in a company like that? So I'm a data scientist. I've been working in this industry for the last 6 years. Okay, of course, before Howard actually gave this term called data scientist, I've been doing this job. And I can tell you the kind of transition I'm seeing in the industries is humongous. And the transition is specifically related to data science and building up a data science team. Now, for example, when I used to work with IBM long back, we were to think about delivering some analytics for certain client. So what we would do is we would look at the data and put that in an IBM SPSS or R at the time, or SAS, and do certain inbuilt operations. Well, that's because we did not have the entire knowledge of how we could go across different kind of data sets. And that's when we started figuring out that we could actually process all those data sets. I mean, like the videos, the audios, the PDFs, and so on and so forth. We thought we could use that data sets and actually started making a lot of sense. For example, we could figure out how many people will take leave in the next 3 months just based on the conversations, on the chatter conversations. That was a big jump for us, because we could then figure out what's our utilization going to look like. So that was one big reason. Now, of course, we still used to predict before the advent of data science that how many people are actually going to take a leave, but that was all based on intuition and not data. This time it was supported with data. Okay, now what could be the other reason that these organizations have started using data science? Well, they've seen, for example, there's a use case for a particular organization that deals with IP addresses. Sorry, not IP addresses, but IP properties. Okay, the intellectual properties. So they wanted to see how many research papers that are coming in every month, how many of them are actually useful, and they would want to find out first 100 which are useful. That was a great thing, because that was a great idea, because that would lead to better quality of white papers or research papers. So what they did, rather than asking their scientists to actually go through all those research papers, they used data science. Now the exercise that used to get completed in around about a month time takes a couple of hours. That's a huge jump, because then they could use those scientists for something more meaningful. Now, Second is analysts get a salary band lift. So we'll see how the salaries have gone up, specifically in US and India, in Bangalore or in Mumbai or in Pune. Again, I'm really sorry, my voice is really bad today. So, top 6 predicted jobs in this decade in the US. Well, in the tech market, video game designer is the highest paid guy. I mean, even compared with the software engineer in Google, a guy with video game designing capabilities in Nvidia or EA Sports would make far more money than anyone. Second was data scientist, which has seen a projected growth of 18.7%. Sustainability consultant, solar sales consultant, social media managers, and wind turbine mechanical engineers. Now, one good thing is that the other guys who are making good money are actually from this environmental background. So that's good. That's good for us. But in the IT job, I mean, in the IT, when I say IT, I also include the analytics. I also include the development that goes around. So I basically include, I would say, computer software. Data scientist is one of the highest paid jobs. If I compare it to a video game designer, if I compare it to a trading algorithm guy, if I compare it to investment banker, a hedge fund analyst, so all of them, they make more money than the data scientist. But eventually, what I've seen is all of them have started using some or the other kind of data science concepts. So it means that it's actually going to jump all over those particular kind of roles and probably become the highest paid job in the industry. Not just in the industry, when I say not just in the industry, in fact, any kind of job, data science would probably become the hottest possible skill in the market. So data scientist salaries, foreigners in US. So if you look at the Silicon Valley side, the H1B filings were 2081 and data scientist average base salary was 104,000. Then some in Texas and Dallas area, I think it seems like 61,000, and number of H1B filings were 29. Then if you look at the eastern side, salaries again on the higher side, but that's more where in the side you'll find people working on more of epidemiology, so they are more specific kind of people. And then on the north side, it's again around 65,000. So the range is 61,000 to 110,000. Of course, the one with 61,000, they're actually not data scientists. In most of the cases, the post is a misnomer. For example, if you go on LinkedIn, you'll see that so many people so many people say that they're data scientists, but they actually have been working in QA or in or in software development for the last 10-15 years, and they suddenly start calling themselves as data scientists. So that doesn't help. So let's look at the median salary. It's around 94K, which is probably on the higher side if you look at it that way. Median salary in India is 625,000 rupees, which is not great, but still it's okay. I mean, I can tell you people definitely earn much more than that, much more than that. If you look at the total pay kind of a thing in US, it's ranging from 63,652 to 137,560. I think these are a bit obsoleted numbers, or in fact they are not correctly bound to the right title of data scientist. I think it's about it's not in the range of 150 if you're a good data scientist with a good understanding of AI and ML. I hope my voice is I don't understand, it's difficult to construe, but still it makes sense. So let's decode what is data science. So data science is the study of extraction of knowledge from data. It includes varying elements: machine learning, computer programming, mathematical skills, visualization, pattern recognition, and data engineering. So I'll call pattern recognition a part of machine learning only. And I'll call machine learning and pattern recognition a part of computer programming only. Okay, and I'll call computer programming, machine learning, and pattern recognition a part of data engineering. And I'll call visualization, machine learning, computer programming, pattern recognition part of data engineering. I would add one more skill, which is domain expertise. So a guy with experience in epidemiology would be much better than a guy I'm not better, but then would be much different to a guy who comes in from a background of insurance, finance, right? Both of them are data scientists, but it's not that you can swap these two guys and ask them to do each other's work. It's not possible, right? Data science practitioners, data scientists. Okay, so we've got statisticians, domain SE, communicator, client-facing, artists, programmers. Yeah. So I would say a data scientist is a guy who knows how to use stats within an algorithm, who knows how to code that algorithm, apply that to a logic, and make it presentable. That's a data scientist guy. Okay. Now, when I say algorithm, stats, program, domain, it all applies to what? Data. It all applies to data. That means he should also have the skill set to know how to manage data. So it could be big data in case if it's really large. So he needs to have skills on big data programming. If the data is not huge, but if it's really sparse, they should know how to optimize data sets. If the data is, again, let's say huge, but it also has a variety, that means they should know certain libraries which could be used in order to, you know, take whatever is there in files with different kind of formats. Career path. Statistical modeling and technical aptitude, business acumen, programming, data warehousing, and business intelligence. Okay. I would say BI and data warehousing probably are not that important. You should know the set of skills. You should know how to use data. You should know how to massage data. So when I say it's not important, but it does not mean you should not, you should not aim to have that skill. Of course you can. And you should also know SQL. If you know SQL, SQL is like the basic, basic building block of a data scientist skill set, architecture. Programming, well, programming is it's not that you need to be a programmer to develop an application. Think of a case where you're solving a problem on a data set and you come up with let's say a partial differential equation. So it could be a case where you cannot solve that partial differential equation within the system or within a paradigm of a copy or a pen, right? So you probably need to know how to code that thing in order to solve that problem. Next is business acumen. Well, business acumen is certainly important. That's pretty much synonymous to what domain experience is. Statistical modeling and technical aptitude. So statistical modeling is by far the most important part. So if you aspire to become a data scientist, you've got to take courses in stats. That's like really, really important. Then you've got job roles: business analyst, data scientist, junior data scientist, decision scientists. So a business analyst is pretty much the same kind of guy you've dealt with. Business analysts are the ones who would collect data, put that in an Excel, print some reports, closely align that with business, and come up with an answer. Data analyst, again, are the guys who probably would not be so close to the business, but would still be doing something or the other on the data sets, probably smaller data sets. We'll talk about decision scientist and data scientist. So what exactly could be the set of terms referring to here? I mean, one is data scientist, one is a decision scientist. Honestly speaking, I think both of them are pretty much the same guys, but a data scientist also need to be savvy with larger data management, which could be potentially big data and a large scale machine learning and all that. A decision scientist is the one, who's like super smart at statistics and algorithms and knows how to churn up a number which could be decisive in taking a decision. So that's more of a decision scientist. So I would say a stats heavy guy is a decision scientist, a programming heavy and a platform heavy guy with stats, of course, is a data scientist. So advantages of data science: disruptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. And what you see is basically a optimization process, optimization, evaluation. Okay, so prescriptive analytics. What in the world could be prescriptive, right, if it's not predictive? Or what in the world could be predictive if it's not diagnostic? And what could be diagnostic if it's not descriptive? So what it means here is, we've got a data sets. First of all, we define what data set is. What are its boundaries? What are the descriptions about that data set? For example, what is the quartile range? What is the correlation? What is the summary? What is the median, mode? Blah, 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 blah. Then we can figure out what could be the reasons. We can find the correlation in the systems. Now, using all that information, we can actually figure out what will happen. Let's say you want to ensure that, you want to see whether a particular set of people in your bank, are they going to be an NPA, that means a non-performing assets? Well, you can do that seeing a predictive analytics trend for all those guys. But what if I ask you to ensure that 90% of your accounts are not NPA? So in that case, you'll have to apply one layer of logic above predictive analytics, which would be prescriptive. That means, how can you make that happen? Okay, advantages of data science: mitigate frauds with proactive detection using predictive analytics and machine learning. So see, this particular diagram, it's fine. It's majorly into fraud. One biggest area in which machine learning is now being used is customer behavior. They want to figure out how customers behave so that they could make the best offers. They could put things which they would probably want to buy. They could figure out what their salary is going to look like. They could see how much of tax are they going to pay. All that thing can actually help us identify all the needs of a customer, which could help us serve our customers better. A customer could be one company, a customer could be an organization, a guy, a group of guys, whatever. One of the very strongly implementable area of data science is fraud. I worked in fraud analytics, and one of my endeavors was to find out whether a particular person who's trying to make a transaction, is that a legal transaction? Is that particular transaction legal or not? Now think of it in this case, how fast you need to make the decision, because the transaction is not going to be, a whole day process. A guy's going to make a transaction, and you need to ensure how we can do that. Of course, there's one particular, area in which fraud analytics was used, and that too for a short duration of time. But then we had that problem, and to be able to solve that problem was a big challenge. Plus, if you solve that problem, you save millions for your organizations each year, right? So just imagine if you could do that. Why would an organization not be happy to pay you few $100,000 if you can make them save millions of dollars a year? Data science career path, guys. Let me sip in some water. Data science career path. So let's see the job opportunities. So let's not think about something before July 1-2. So the term actually was coined by D.J. Patil, who was actually a member of Howard with his group also at the time. And Howard actually came up with this concept called a data scientist at this term actually. And since then it's been a buzzword. And it's growing like hell. Everyone wants to be a data scientist nowadays. Why? Because you can actually make difference to bring in some logical difference to your organization. Okay. So if you see the trend, it's clearly going up. I mean, the data is from Indeed.com, and currently the percentage growth is 80,000, which is super huge. Major companies using data science, that means major companies hiring data scientists are Amazon, Honda, then Walmart, Bank of America, all the social networks, Dell, Intel, and there are so many of them. Not just these, there are so many of them. they are doing it. So if you're a good data scientist, you've got a good career, lying ahead of you. Real life application. Let's think about it. So BMW is using predictive analytics to find a place to park. So what they're doing is basically they're looking at the car plots, and based on that they are able to find out, based on the history, they're able to find out whether a parking place would be available or not. Okay, so let's say you start at home and you put up, let's say you use a GPS, you put your final location at let's say BMW office, whatever. So that could tell you that you will not find a place to park, even if there are some vacant places. And that would probably help you save some of the time, because if you, let's say you don't get a parking in a particular office, then you sometimes have to you have to come back, maybe you search for another building which probably not on the same lane, and so on and so forth. So basically it's nothing but predictive algorithms that's doing that. E-commerce, they're using it big time, big time. Flipkart, Amazon, both of them. So for example, if you go to Flipkart, first of all, you have to ensure that whatever a customer is looking for, that should be made available to that customer in next 25 seconds. If you cannot show the required product to the customer in the next 25 seconds, the customer is most likely not to buy it. Okay, so then you ensure that what customer would probably land up buying. Okay, that is one. Second, if as this pic shows, if someone bought bananas, they are most likely, they've also bought carrots. Or even think of it this way, you go to youtube.com and you search for a video on, let's say, Tom Cruise. Now there is another guy, or a set of guys whose history on YouTube is pretty much similar to yours, and that guy saw a video on Tom Cruise and then jumped to a video on Tom Hanks. So you might just see, you may like talking about Tom Hanks. Okay, a video on Tom Hanks. Application of data science. Companies using it for customer acquisition and repeat business. Simple as that. So basically, you could figure out who could be your potential customer. For example, we've got leads in the system, right? You know what a lead? A lead is something that can convert into a potential customer, and they can finally convert into customer if we take care of them and provide them the required things. So for any CRM-based organization who have a good understanding of their leads, they could use data science in order to predict something that deals with their customer acquisition. So maybe for example, let's say you are a company that sells CRM business to big clients, and you know that, let's say, a particular kind of customer has an issue where let's say some kind of an issue XYZ. Now you can use data science to figure out someone with XYZ is going to buy a particular kind of a technology solution, and that is what you propose to that client directly, which is going to give you a higher probability that the client is going to buy your offering. Customer churn prevention. So customer churn is like figuring out if a customer is going to use your particular service or not, or are they going to drop out of the service or not. Okay, so for example, if my let's say my total bill usage is going above 20%, above 120%, then there's a good chance that I might drop off that particular telecom vendor. And that's where these companies come into picture and offer you something which can help you reduce your bill. Okay, and that's called as customer churn prevention, by analyzing if a customer is going to leave or not. Demo. Well, is data scientist really the sexiest job of 21st century? I say it's a big time yes, because of the quality of work. Most importantly, salaries are good. You get, honestly speaking, it's not that easy to become a data scientist, and that's because it involves a lot of skill set, and it's not something that someone can teach you in a matter of hours. It's a month-long preparation. Okay, but of course doing certain courses can help you get started fast and can get you on the track, and from there you can take up your journey of becoming a data scientist. Okay, questions. So let's now time for questions. Let's see if you got any. Okay, so well, I've got some 5-6 questions here, and the strength looks like somewhere around 35, so I was expecting more number of questions actually. So there's a raise hand. Well, instead of a hand raise, you could actually put your question on the chat. Okay, so let's start one by one. I hope you guys were able to see my screen. Wait. Yeah, it's on. Oops. Okay. So, how does one become a data scientist? Well, I've told you that set of skills. You can actually go and watch my video on YouTube also, where it says you can search my name Anirudh, then you can see how to become a data scientist. Any particular course or degree that I need to pursue? Yes, you can go and pursue a degree in data science. There are multiple universities doing that, but the problem is, what I've seen, I've been interviewing a lot of data scientists for the past couple of years from those universities who've just done, I mean, these guys have just done their masters, and yeah, so these guys were able to do, these guys have done their masters, and then when I interviewed them, what I saw was they had good knowledge of what algorithms are what, but you can actually figure out that whatever they've learned, it's more of theory and not practical. So maybe Edureka is one good place you can start your journey for data science. Okay, feel like you are through the course, and let's say even if you grab 70% of it, it'll put you in a place where you can take on your journey of data scientist. Okay, I would say you will still not be a data scientist, honestly, but it'll still bring you up to pace in order to become a data scientist in the next 6 months to 1 year, I'm sorry. Okay, so you can think about that. Next one, any particular, oh yeah, so you can actually go and do a course on Coursera. It's by Andrew Ng, but again the problem is they don't really take you to the practical part of it. What are tools apart from domain knowledge a person needs to know? One language is R and the other one is Python. I would say go for both of them and try to see how you can apply machine learning using these two languages. Hi, do we need programming knowledge? You don't actually need a programming knowledge, because it's not basically a programming job. It's a job where you use a programming language to solve your problem. So you're not developing a web application, or you're not developing anything using a programming language. You're using a programming language to solve a problem, which is the syntaxes and the set of packages are very limited. So it's pretty easy to actually master that thing. What are the technical competencies required to become a data scientist? I've already said you need to know something in big data. Okay, that's good to have. For example, Hadoop, machine learning in Hadoop and all that. You obviously need to have SQL understanding. R and Python are the two major building blocks. You need to know statistics, a lot of statistics. It says, what would you give more weightage as a skill set today? I would say big time data scientists, big time statistics. Okay, statistics like the building block of data science. I've done masters in embedded systems, but my cousin advised me, let me see that, to go for data science course. I'm confused. Well, embedded systems is another great area. So I won't say what you're doing is of no worth, But data science, see, there are so many people who are turning into a data science role, but the fact is, it does not really, it's not that easy actually, honestly speaking. It takes a lot of time, and I've seen so many people saying that we are data scientists, but they are not data scientists. Okay, so if you want to go for a data science course, go for that, but just don't go for the sake of the fact that that data science have got better opportunities. You go for data science role only if you feel like you're interested in doing something more, more towards math and machine learning. Coming from a coding background on telecom network fault isolation, how would becoming a data scientist boost my career? It'll boost your career big time, because then you'll be able to move into a more strategic role. So that, I mean, for example, in telecom there are so many applications of data science. So you could have your organization take important decisions and not based on intuition. So it can certainly help. Required skill set I've already talked about. I'm a senior tech team member in startup and want to understand customer behavior. How should I start preparing up before taking a data science course? Very good question, Sunil Sant. Well, in order to understand customer behavior, first understand what all it takes to understand that. What all it takes to ensure that this is not something which can give you an answer out of a magical box. First of all, you need to understand what all it will take for me to be sure of the fact that if I'm able to process all those modules that I've created, would enable me to help my customer better, or to, let's say, to help you understand your customer behavior better. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you put your customer behavior in the center and try a certain set of things which could help you understand your customer behavior better. Then try to procure data sets that could help you do that, and finally apply machine learning on top of it to see if you can actually get good answers. Anything you can learn yourself? Yes, you can of course learn yourself if you learn mathematics. If you know mathematics. If you don't, then it's going to be a bit difficult, and the learning curve would be very, very sluggish. What are the courses available in Edureka to become a data scientist? Well, there's a course on data science itself. I am the instructor for the data science course. You can do that. It'll put you in. Again, I don't claim that that course will make you a data scientist. Okay, that course is going to give you a very good understanding of what it'll take for you to become a data scientist. Of course, introduction to all those techniques, to an extent, understanding those techniques. I mean, going to the depths of it to an extent again, then applying them to all real-time data sets and see how it works. But to master all those techniques, you need to focus on a lot of the things, a lot many other things, and practice for at least 6 months to 1 year. I have about 15 years of experience in IT. Lastly, worked as a senior project manager for end-to-end project delivery. I've taken 2 years break in service due to personal reasons. Can I still pursue my career by programming myself in Hadoop, ML, and analytics? Certainly, there are so many people who are doing that stuff. Okay. So if you can do Hadoop, ML, analytics, you are a rock star actually in that case. These are like set of skills which are in demand, and they don't really care if you have a break or not. Initially, when organizations started hiring data scientists, they just wanted to have PhD folks. They just wanted to have PhD guys, which eventually changed to people who knew how to do stuff, because PhD folks had focused on a very specific area, which they figured out is not that helpful. And thus, if you know stuff, they would hire you. In predictive modeling, are data scientists required to develop their own algo? Of course, you can develop your own algo. You can use pre-built algorithms also. What all is needed to know before we can go for cloud data scientists? I don't know. Cloud data science certification is more with big data actually. They don't talk that much about statistics. Cloudera is a pure big data organization. They started with the first version of Hadoop, first flavor of Hadoop outside the Apache naive or native Hadoop. So I qualify them more as a big data company and not data science. What would be the best curriculum for data science course? Um, well, learn statistics, statistical learning, ML, then that's one. Then use SQL, that's another, that's second. And then, of course, a course on your big data. I'm currently working on Java for over 6 years. Can I move into a data science role? Of course you can. But the question is, do you really understand do you really want to understand statistics or not? Okay. Um, you can actually become a data scientist. I can suggest the best approach is join a course, which talks about data science, then practice a lot of data science stuff once you are done with the course. Are there any good MOOCs for statistics? Yes, one is from Stanford, Lagunita, which is a course on statistical learning by Rob Tishirani and Trevor Hesty. That course is like one of the best courses, but the problem is if you are new to statistics, it will not make sense to you unless you do that course at least 10 times. No certificate could help you give some kind of recognition. In any interview you land up with. So in data science, you'll find people from really smart backgrounds taking your interview. And it's not like a Java interview in an IT firm or something like that. They want people to know stuff. They don't really care if you've got a certificate or not. If I had to learn on my own, where to start with? Will it be machine learning? Well, you can start learning, but on your own for sure. And I would say start with statistics. I know how to open Java. Can I kickstart my career in data science? Of course you can. Senthil, I'm sorry if that's a wrong pronunciation of your name. That's because you already know one part of it. Now you need to get your hands dirty with statistics and machine learning. It seems like all the questions are now over. You got any more questions? We've got 20 more minutes for this webinar. Let me know if you've got some more questions. Guys, any more questions? Okay. So I would say please do put in your feedback, and thank you so much for joining this webinar. If you've still got some questions, I can still take them. Okay, I see there are some raised hands. Rather than raising hands, I would say, okay, there are so many of them now. Oh boy. So I am into analytics but facing problems in statistics. What should I do? Okay. The thing is, again, I'm reiterating that it's not trivial. Statistics, of course, statistics does not really gets down to your mind so easily. And the only way to learn it is read it again and again and again. Okay, and try to see how, and try to vary your data sets and see how it gives you different answers. That's the best way. That's the way I've learned it. So if I've got a data set, I would go and change certain points in that data, and I would see how it would behave. Okay. You mean R and Python is machine language? Yes, R and Python is machine learning languages. So R is purely for statistical modeling. So statistical modeling, statistical learning, machine learning, they're pretty much the same term, right? They're used sometimes with different labels and all, but you can certainly go for a machine learning. You can certainly call that as machine learning or statistical learning. Can you share some good content for basic data science to get good hands on? Start with N2NG Coursera, if that's what you want. The easy understanding books for statistics. There is no easy understanding. The best book is Introduction to Statistical Learning by Trevor Hesty and Rob Tishirani. Are there any place where data science network like a forum or meetup? Well, there's one. It's called Data Science Central. Winston Garnwell is a co-founder for it. So you can certainly go and do some networking over there, but that doesn't really help, honestly speaking. Apart from the course, what homework we have to do? Well, you'll get loads of case studies, so you can go and work on those case studies. Any specific topics to be in statistical course? Yes, statistical learning is the branch of statistics you can work on. There's a branch called design of experiments. Okay, there's a branch called native learning. All that is part of statistics, and all that is part of data science also. So you can start with basic statistical learning that involves regression, classification, and regression through different techniques like linear, non-linear neural networks and all. Can you provide some links to gather more information about data scientists? I don't really understand what is meant by more information. If you want more information on data science, so let me give you a link to my YouTube channel. You'll find a lot of things over there. Okay, so I've sent it to all of you. IBM or Musicma, which should I join? Well, that's a question here too. I cannot answer actually. I don't know. I don't know what kind of profile you're offering you, so that's not a question I should be answering here. Can you provide some links to gather more information about data science? I've done that. What Stanford course on stats were you referring to? The course is Statistical Learning by Trevor Hasty, Rob Tishirani. Let me put it right down. Okay. Then wanted to learn something with some advanced concepts. Well, you've taken a course from Edureka, which was really very less basic for a beginner. I don't know when did you take that course. When I take this course and I teach things like support vector machine, neural network, deep learning, text analytics in Python, machine learning with Mahout, and connecting it to R and Hadoop, connecting R and Hadoop, and solving a problem in R Hadoop. If you think all that is basic, well, I think then you should go and start working on deep learning. Want to learn something with advanced concepts? I don't know what advanced is. If you reckon support vector machines and neural networks as trivial, I think you're already way par a machine learning course. So you should go and learn about, as I said, deep learning. I've already said the name of the book. Okay, let me put that again. The book is Introduction to Statistical Learning by Rob Tishirani, Trevor Hasty. What about SAS? SAS is again, but it's a great platform for data analytics. But I mean, for machine learning, for advanced machine learning, it's not that great. Plus, it's proprietary. It's not open source. For data visualization, yes, there are tools like D3. Okay, you can use R. You can use Shiny, Shiny, Shiny. Apart from theory, what kind of practicals should we have to do? Well, the practicals are like, I mean, it's nothing but it's case studies, right? So you have to solve problems. You still should start solving problems. Regarding statistics, if we know linear regression, non-linear regression, clustering DT, stream random forest analytics model, would this suffice? See, the concepts are going to be same. The idea is going to be different. How would you mold such something so that you can apply, let's say, something like support vector machines on top of it? Okay. Now, support vector machine is a very complex concept. It's not trivial at all, right? So you have to think about what variations of support vector machine is going to be more helpful in a scenario. That's where it gets tricky. Well, I guess we're done with all the questions. If you think I've missed your question, can you put it again in the list? For me, the list is complete right now. I think in case you've missed something, I mean, if you think I've missed your question, can you please put it again? Okay, there's a hand raised. You could ask a question directly in the questions window. There I see. What are the tools used for data cleaning? Well, data cleaning first of all is not part of data science. That's more of data warehousing, data massaging part. But for data cleaning, what I've used is I've used a DQM engine, which is called Data Quality Manager, and I've used it in Big Data Hive, HIVE. You could also use Informatica for that. There's one Informatica MDM, Master Data Management, which is used for deduplicating and massaging data. Plus, there's some imputation techniques, okay, which could be used to clean your data. Any more questions? Or is that we're done? Yes, no? If you're done, we can actually close the session. I'll wait for another couple of minutes for you to ask the questions. After that, I'll close. Yes, no? Okay. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you had an informative session. In case you want to connect with me, I'm there on LinkedIn. My name is Anirudh Kala, ANIRUDHKALA. You can connect with me over there, and I'll be happy to answer your queries. Thank you so much for joining in. Bye-bye and take care. Okay, it's still 10:20, so let's probably wait for another couple of minutes if you've got a question. Okay, so we do have certain new questions. How judge a model? Well, a model could be judged on multiple things. Well, first of all, what kind of model are you building? Is it a regression model, or is it a clustering? Or is it a classification model? A classification model has got multiple measuring parameters. A regression model has got multiple measuring parameters. Also, try to see what is the abstraction limit for a particular model. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're trying to solve a problem and you're trying to make your model learn from a particular kind of a data set. But the thing is, do you really think a particular problem could only have a restricted kind of a data set? It could be exposed to multiple variance, paradigms in a particular data set. So what I mean is, the data set can change really fast, and the best way to see that whether your particular model is able to match up to that variance actually is a good measure of your model performance. As I joined late, can I have a PPT? Yes, you can have the PPT, no problems. I'll put it on. I mean, I'll send it to you. Can we get a job only learning R? Not as a data scientist. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone would give you a job just on the basis of being a R modeler. How to judge a model whether it is a predicting correctly or not? So it's pretty simple, right? You always have a test data sets where you already know the answer, but you predict on that data set and then you compare with the actual answers to see how you're doing, good or bad. Okay. Does Edureka help us in landing a right job? I am not very sure about. I'm not very sure about that actually. If it reviews a resume, I've never done that, so I'm not too sure. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm not too sure if they really help doing that. You can actually ask that question to support in Edureka. Questions? Waiting. Do we need to do a Hadoop course for data scientists? I think it's a good one if you go for a Hadoop course. It's a good idea actually, but I don't think that's mandatory. Okay, so I would say you should be good at, I mean, honestly speaking, if you call someone a data scientist, he should know how to deal with big data sets. Because if he does not, he cannot actually come up with more accurate results, which are possible because of larger data sets, right? So I would say yes, it's a good thing to have, but not mandatory for sure. Any more questions? I'm here. Questions? Okay, there's another one. Will it be helpful doing a data science course in US? Certainly it'll be helpful because there are so many people who are shifting the career in data science just by being in US and doing a course on data science. Can you suggest some sites where we can practice analytics and big data concepts? Well, one of the sites is my own company, Topcoder. So you can go to Topcoder and you'll find so many big data challenges that you can participate in. Big data and predictive analytics challenges that you can participate in, and those are actually the industry problems. Okay, so that really makes you kind of work on an industry problem directly. There's another one called Kaggle, Kaggle. Are there any data exploratory tools or packages? Yes, there are so many of them in R. One is there's HMISC, there is Lattice, there is ggClues for visualization. There's so many of them. So don't go for exploratory tools as such. Go for a language like R or Python first. Can you please spell it out? Which one? Shanta. So what is the question? Topcoder? Okay, let me do that. Is it toddler? No, it's Topcoder. I'm so sorry if my pronunciation was not clear. Yeah. Questions? Yeah, Topcoder, exactly. So I'm part of the data science team at Topcoder, and we run so many challenges on data science every couple of weeks. Yep. Any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Well, You're asking Jigsaw Academy rating, but that's a competitor. What do you think I'll say? They're bad. Honestly speaking, I have no idea. Okay. Uh, 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 you can go and look at the courses for sure, but I have absolutely no idea of how good or bad they are. Questions? Oh, okay. What are the steps one should use while analyzing the probability sets? Well, that's a very big answer. I cannot give that answer right here. Well, the first and foremost important step is cleaning the data. Cleaning it, I mean, when I say cleaning, it's like imputing the data. Okay. Then preparing the data set. So basically, you have to do a lot of feature engineering, dimensional reduction, finding the eigenvectors, finding the eigenvalues, denormalizing the data sets, normalizing data sets, create more columns, create more logical ideas, create more logical data sets, and then apply a machine learning algorithm, see how it does, apply another machine learning algorithm, see how it works again, and let's say 3 or 5 of them. Try to think of an ensemble that can do that. Then tweak the data sets as per the trade and the variance, and then test it on newer and newer data sets. That's how it normally goes. But then that's very very on the high level. What is the salary range for a data scientist as a fresher? I think in US it's around 75,000, and in 75 to $90,000. In India it's around 8 to 9 lakhs. Okay, so guys, it seems like we're almost done with the webinar now. Just 1 minute left, so let me know if you got any question left. I can still answer that. Close off in a minute. Questions? How to judge which machine learning algorithm suits our data set? Experience and see what it is good at. Okay. For example, SVM works best with the text data sets, support vector machines. Why? Well, there's a big reason for it. Okay. Any more questions? Most welcome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and take care.